What's going on, good people? Rich here, back at it again, man. Another week in the books. I feel good, Spike. Like I really feel. Chapter one was kind of, and as much as I recorded, and as much as I recorded with you, and the whole nine. That was the first time in a while I had like nerves, like some butterflies, man. Starting this new journey.
That's a good thing, right?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. That means you are, ready. That means you really want to put your best foot forward, at least for me, in my opinion. But I also knew I prepared, so I felt good once we started. But it also was like, all right, now that first one's out the belt, it's almost like football. It's football season, so it's fitting. Anybody who's played football, after the off season, the first thing you're looking forward to is getting that first hit. All right, let me just get hit. Let me get in the flow of things. Yeah,
Put
yeah.
them
Let me just get in
pads
the
on,
flow.
bro.
Yeah, you can't dodge it, man. It's gonna happen. So go ahead, let's get this contact going. All right, bet. Now it's going. Now we in the season. Now we rolling. So that's how I feel entering chapter one. How you feeling today, brother?
I felt the same way. It's funny that you say that. Again, as much podcasting as I do, but this was one where you really got to have to do what you say. Essentially, like a lot of the stuff that we do is analysis, or we breaking down TV shows, or talking about sports, or music, or movies, or whatever it may be. This one dealing with accountability and just putting it out here, what you want from the world, and people are going to be able to judge you from this if you don't do what you said you were going to do in book 2, chapter whatever. When you and Rich were talking, like thankfully I have friends like that will hold me to that'll do those things. So that's what the nerves was about for me, like what I'm about to put out here, what I'm gonna stand on, and be accountable for, like what this book is about. So I'm excited, and the nerves too, like you said.
Yeah, absolutely, man. It's crazy you said that, because for the longest I've been having ideas and telling myself I'm going to do X, Y, and Z, but still not following through on it. So now all right, I know this. I'm excited to witness, because I know what's going to happen. I'm going to accomplish everything on this checklist, because I got good brothers like you, good brothers like Mo, School. I got people like Rachel, other people that are going to listen to this, man. My brother Phil's great at accountability. They're going to listen to this and be like, all right, you said it. Because that's the thing, right? Because I'm the same way, Spike. You said it. Shout out to Tommy and Goodfellas, nigga. Nah, you said it. How am I supposed to know? You said it. Like, bro, you said you was gonna do this. Like, so how you gonna be mad at me when I ask you about if you done what you said you was gonna do?
Facts.
So I'm looking forward to that, and I know it's gonna be a great, like I said, the development and just the growth that we're naturally gonna take over the course of this book is gonna be incredible. So speaking of which, I do, as we get started, man, I want to say thank you to everybody out there listening, watching, as we figure out what book 2 looks like. We're literally writing this in real time. This is one of those unique spaces where the final draft is also the rough draft. You know what I mean? So we appreciate y'all giving us grace as we build this, and we also want to build this community and get you as involved as possible. So since Mo has been working on his other projects, I've taken over the Another Week in the Books social media page, and I'm going to do some revamping. Do some following, and I just want to really place this call to action out there to anybody who's currently right now listening to this episode. Press pause for me. Holla at us on the social media page, man. Just say what's up. I'm sure you have done it before, man. I love to just chop it up with some of y'all and really start that conversation. I'm going to start following a lot more people, really kind of putting the word out. One of the goals that we'll talk about when we get to the list is really the social media presence, not just for this, but for the stuff I got going on too, because it's like, man, you can't just sit and wait for people to find it. Like, you got to put yourself out there some, especially with all this technology, and build on that. So that is my personal, we talk about accountability, call to action to everybody out there listening, not because of anything more than we just want to build this brand. We want to make sure it gets to the people that needs to hear it. And we also want to chop it up and include y'all with this whole process, man. You're bookworms, you're co-authors just as much as we are. And also, on a side note, I guess I should say the Instagram handle, Another Week in the Books, at Another Week in the Books. My personal handle is at krich513. And then, of course, Spike. I am Spike Lou.
Yeah, and don't be bashful at all. This book is for the people. Me and Rich may be here every week, and we may bring other co-authors on to contribute, but the contribution also comes from the people listening, man. What y'all want to hear, feedback, and anything y'all want to talk about, us to bring to the show, perspectives that you like to share or hear. That's what we want to do. We want to make it very interactive.
Yeah. So as we as we continue this accountability journey with yourself and me, we also want to include y'all. I think Spike mentioned it last week. So if you're trying to join in on this or trying to really contribute in your own way, like, hey, I need an accountability partner as well. Let's just group up. We can do that. I know you mentioned Dro. Shout out to Dro. I'm not sure if he still has the accountability group. We can get that worked in here, all of that, because it's crazy the things you can do when you're together. I want to ask you a question though, Spike. I got a few questions for you actually before we talk about the list. But what does accountability look like to you? Like, what does that look in the sense of, I said I'm going to do this. This is what I need to hear from my brothers, my sisters, whoever, to get this done when I'm not motivated to do it. What does that look like for you? What's the most effective method?
You said the key word there was motivation. I think a lot of us were raised by parents and household maybe that where accountability came very stern. Like it was a stern thing. Why didn't you do this? And if you didn't do it, then you have these repercussions from it that you didn't want, essentially. But I've talked about my problem with authority a lot. Like when people on a previous book. So niggas getting to telling me what to do ain't what I'm looking for in accountability. But someone that will still be able to bring it to you confident and be like, look, like what you said in the beginning, like, look, man, you said you was gonna do this, bro. I ain't hassling you or nothing about it. I just genuinely want an update. Even if you got an excuse as to why you didn't do it, okay, cool. But I'm gonna keep asking you. Versus like the stern, hey man, you did this yet, or getting on your nerves or something like that. That really don't work for me because I'm really good at just tuning people out. So it'll be the thing where I ain't even talk to them then, because every time we talk, it's gonna be that. But being able to line it in conversation and keep it moving, like that's one of the dopest things. Like the group of friends that I got and the type of accountability I expect. You can ask me about it at the top of the call, the end of the call. We ain't gonna harp on it. You didn't do it. Okay, cool. But I'm still gonna ask you about it because I expect shit out of you because you my mans and you supposed to, your balls is your word. The old Scarface fan. So my expectation of it is to be an adult about it. Not like we kids, not like you want each other's parents or whatever it may be. I'm gonna bring it up. You can tell me what you want to. Give me the status update on it, and we're gonna keep it moving. I ain't gonna stand over you, make sure you do it. I ain't gonna harass you. If you haven't done it, I'm gonna ask you about it in my style or want to be asked about it, and then we can keep it moving. Unless you know you really just bullshit. When it comes to I to ask you 5-6 times and like, nah, come on, no, bro. What we doing? Then even with that, you don't go to. I think the problem with people holding other people accountable and them receiving it well is even if they get to the point where you know they're bullshitting, how do you address that? Like, how do you say that in a manner that motivates them still while not turning them off from you and not wanting to talk to you because you're asking about it every time versus, is there anything I can do to help? Like, do you need anything from me or giving some advice? Or, well, bro, I was doing this how I did it. You know what I'm saying? You may want to try this if you haven't done that yet. And I see you ain't far along as you want to be. Have you thought about doing it this way? To me, accountability comes with suggestions. It comes with being well thought out. It comes with being respectable, like knowing the other person that you're dealing with. Because sometimes when we hold people accountable, you kind of make them feel less than. That's why we have this whole thing about grown-ups and men especially not being able to hold each other accountable because of the way that they approach it. But if you approach it respectably, you approach it with advice, you approach it with an open mind, people are more likely to hear it and more likely to do what they said they're gonna do.
Hey, that's spot on, man. That's the reason why I even asked you, because of what you just answered. That's the whole reason what sparked that. Because how does that look in order to get the maximum out of Spike Lee? You know what I mean? From my perspective, I can't just be. I already know because like we talk about it all the time. We got similar personalities. To the point. Speaking of which, quick sidebar. You talked about the problem with authority. So I told you a couple of weeks ago I was in Cincinnati with Moms and Sis at it's a Cincinnati Tennis Open, and it's a big tournament. It's like it's what everybody goes to. All the stars go to there before they do the U.S. Open, right? It's like they warm up. So it ain't like a rinky dink. You got the world's top players, and I'm walking into like the actual stadium, like the actual seating part of the stadium, and I got a beer and I got some food, and they're checking phones like for your ticket, just to make sure you got a ticket. And like, bro asked me for my ticket, man. I walk right pop. My hands full and all that. So I get up to the seat. My mom, or I think my sister asked, like, did I show my phone to the ticket? I said, no. Like, why would I do that? Like, why would I? Like, because I know that I'm not gonna sneak into it. I got a ticket, bro. Like, you're gonna have to take my word for that. I'm not about to stop, pull out my phone, do all this and that. Like, it's pointless to me. And I'm not trying to
like, why are you inconveniencing me?
Yeah, that's an inconvenience. Like, you're not even, it's not even it's just literally, I just want to see if you got a ticket. Like, it's not even where you sit, none of that. You're not escorting me to my seat, none of that, bro. So, no, I ain't got time for that. It's a clog in my day, man. I don't like inconvenience. Yeah, I don't like inconvenience. And it's messed up. Like, I'll acknowledge that it can be messed up, but honestly, I look at it as you inconveniencing me right now. And this ain't that deep. To me, this is not that deep, so I don't care. And there's a lot of things that I've done or I do that people will look at and be like, I can't believe you're doing it. I'm like, why? I don't like what's gonna happen.
I can't believe you didn't do it. That's what I
like,
get the same a lot too.
Yeah, like I'm amazed at how people like my brother Nate. He always like, man, you bold, bro. I said, how? Like, who's gonna say something? Like, who is gonna stop out of their time to walk up to me and say X, Y, and Z about this? Like, that's dumb. Like, I just, it is what it is. But either way, when we talk about the accountability portion, it's one of those things where, it's genuine, right? Like, I'm only asking because you asked me for it, or I genuinely care. And I think when you genuinely care, it switches up how you ask based off the mood and how the situation, right? So if it gets to 5-6 times, that's when you have the conversation. Hey, everything good with you? Like, and not even in a negative way. Like, literally, are you okay? Everything cool? Because I know you said this, and it sounded like you was passionate about it. It sounded like it was something you want to do. Like, I know life gets heavy. I know we all get busy. I can use my example. I'm busy. I got a lot of stuff going on. Do you need help organizing your day? Like, is there anything I can do to assist you? Or it could be as simple as, brother, you still want to do this? Because if you don't want to do it, I'll stop asking. Because I know how much of an annoyance it can be if you really ain't got your heart into something and people still ask you about X, Y, and Z. Right. And that's one of my fears, Spike Lou. Like, I always talk about that when it comes to podcasting. Because once you do it, you realize how much hard work it is. And this kind of ties back to what I told you last week when I was like, you got to sit down and really like take some time to admire and appreciate the stuff that you do. Because we recording and you having fun, but the prep work that goes into it, the time that you could be doing other things with, like, a lot of people get 10, 11, 12 episodes in and it folds.
Yep.
Like, our brother Mo talked about his podcast with the bros, 25 episodes. Man, he made a point to tell us, like, I've never had a podcast that went this long because other people would drop out. And it's one of those things. I get it. I know how hard it is, but I never wanted to be one of those people. I never wanted somebody to run up on me. Hey, man, what happened to that podcast you had? Nah, bro. Yeah. If that happens, it's because I ended it gracefully. I ended it how I wanted to end it, not just because I just fell off of it because I wasn't holding myself accountable or nobody else was.
That's why I always take offense to the question when niggas I ask, "Oh, you still do the podcast?" Like, I don't even really be wanting to answer. Yeah, exactly. Like, now at this point, it's just one. Which one? When niggas ask me that now, or people come up to ask me that know from On Deck from years ago, from them being listeners, maybe they stopped listening. It's always like a slight to me. I don't know if I'm just taking it too personally or what, but I always look at it, and it's like the Jordan thing too. I ain't too offended by it, but I use it as fuel. Like, oh, okay, I see what you're doing here. Now I don't do the podcast anymore. I got a media company. Like that's we do like several podcasts, but
straight up,
it's the Jordan thing.
Absolutely, man. For me, when I hear that, I just don't let it be genuine. Don't small talk me. Don't let it be someone I ain't seen in a minute. And because we follow each other, you see me post like, bro, have you listened? I'm about to start asking niggas questions.
Yep.
Like, so what you think of this episode? Which one's your favorite? Tell me a line from your favorite episode as to why you fuck with the pod. Just to prove a point, like, bro, you ain't gotta. I tell people
gotta ask
up,
me
like,
that, bro.
Hey, man, shout out to my homegirl Jade, man. Jade, one of the realest, man. I've known Jade since I was 14 years old, man. Me and her are still real tight. And I remember when I first started Culture Garden, and I told her about it, and she was like, "Hey, I ain't gonna lie to you. I don't listen to podcasts. Like, I'm not gonna listen to your podcast."
Yeah.
However, she said, if you start a YouTube page, I'll watch it on YouTube. And that was good critical feedback to let me know there are different people who listen to different things in different mediums.
Facts.
Like, it's not on and I know, like, Jay's my real friend. So it's never going to be one of those like, oh, you my homie, you don't support me. Like, nah, like I can't expect everybody to do something they don't like just out of support. You can support me in other ways. And you've been supporting me since we was 14.
Yeah, I know.
So
it ain't even about that with you. Yeah, it's just something I do. And again, I don't mind something just being my thing. Like, I don't need you to come talk to me about podcasts just because I do a podcast. Like, that's you don't have to do that. But to your point, like, one of my favorite things about my homeboy Scoops, when he bring it up, it's always he'll mention some shit to me that he heard that I forgot was even said. Like, man, Mo said this, man. You ain't think about it this way, or you ain't maybe didn't. You said this, and then he's like, he always give details, so I know he's not just blowing smoke up my ass. Yeah. So that's one of the things that I do appreciate. It made me think of that when you said that you start asking niggas questions. So that's a good thing right there.
Yeah, and that's only if people approach me, because I'm never gonna be, because I've never forced the podcast on anyone. I've said this before, but I talked about how when I got into podcasting, you starting something fresh. My goal was, man, I want this to be the biggest podcast there is. I want this to grow and grow and grow, be the biggest podcast in the world, all that. And then it shifted into, once you start reaching real people and start having real interaction, then it's when I want this to reach everybody it's supposed to reach.
Facts.
You know what I mean? Because the people who actually rock with it, they have a different appreciation for it versus somebody randomly on the street. I'm just trying to, hey, man, you need to listen to this podcast.
Listen to this podcast.
If it ain't for you, it's for, because I know, and we can't be sold. Like, if I'm buying something I was already interested in, it's rare
I was
that you could
get
just,
it anyway.
Yeah, it's rare that you could just, like, on the dime, cold turkey, talk me into buying something that I had no plan on buying. Like, it's got to be, you got to be a hell of a salesman, or you got to have a hell of a feature, or I need that in my life right now. Because if I came in the store, I know what I'm getting. I ain't window shopping.
Facts. I'm the same way. And that's why even though I'm in sales, I despise selling people who want you to jump through hoops to impress them. All right, tell me what you got. Like, nigga, shut up. Like, you know what the fuck? What do you need, nigga? But that being said, I was in the mall one day. The nigga got mad at me. He was from Memphis. I was walking in the mall, and this nigga come up to me like, "Hey, man, buy my comedy special." I'm like, "What? Buy your comedy special?" Yeah, I'm gonna, like, you just give me $20, cash at me $20. I'm gonna send you the link to my comedy special. And I was like, "Bro, no. I don't even know if you funny, my nigga. Like, what we talking about?" And I asked him, at first I told him, I said, "Well, shit, I do a podcast, man. You can come do a feature. We can talk about, getting you some exposure or something like that. You can send me a link to your YouTube. I don't do nothing for free, bro." I'm sorry, excuse me, my nigga. Like I don't even understand. I don't even understand how we got in this conversation. Like, you don't do nothing for free. You came and asked me to buy a comedy special from a nigga I've never heard of who's selling it in the mall in the middle of the day. And you want 20 for it, nigga? Get out of my face. But that go to what you said about being sold. Like, niggas is bold. I wish I had that audacity sometimes. I ain't even gonna hold you.
That reminded me, we were recording best episode ever yesterday when Ari told Scott, like, "Who are you and why am I wasting my time listening to you?" Like, the conversation hits a point. It's like, hold on, bro, how we even get here? Like, what you mean you don't do nothing for free?
Like, shit,
do your thing. Even the people, even the shoe cleaner people got samples.
Yeah,
like damn, you ain't got no 30-second reel that I can just watch and see. I bet.
Nigga didn't even say, "Hey, go to my IG, check it out. If you think it's funny, buy my comedy special." Like, he didn't even say it. It's just, "Hey, buy my comedy special." Like, I'm funny. Like, you can already tell I'm funny, right, bro? Like, no, nigga, I don't know that you funny. What we talking about?
And just talking about this right now, I got to give a shout out to Mo, because Mo, the whole reason we even connected, and we talked about it, man. The whole reason we even connected, because Mo ain't trying to sell me. Mo just presented the product and said, "Hey, man, listen to me. If you get a chance to listen. If you get a chance to tell me what you think, tell me what you think." Had he come in there on some, and he specifically said, "Man, I'm not trying to look for no posts. I ain't looking for nothing. I literally just want to share this with you. So for you, like, I don't want you to share it." Like, and I was like, "Bet, man." You came in there genuine, had product that I could actually listen to and watch, and the whole approach worked. So
that's the best sell, when you let somebody sell themselves. I'm going to tell you what I got. All I need to do is tell you what I got, and if you in the market for it, you're going to buy, because I know it's that good. That's the best sell. Not all you need this. Oh, like, get out of my face, bro.
Yeah, man. That's real. I know for me, if I was to answer that same question about how accountability looks like for me, it's literally just check in. Just check in, man. And I take responsibility to check in with others too. Like, that's why it's good for me to have accountability partners. That's why this is going to work so well, because it's not like I'm just waiting on Spike Lee to check in. we can do check-ins together. Like, bro, what's going on? And just know, like, hey, man, stuff happens. All right, cool. Just make sure we get back on that horse. Progress, not perfection. And we keep things moving. I'm also a very direct and blunt person when it comes to what I like to hear that gets me motivated. Right? Because as you mentioned, man, we kind of got that laid back, nonchalant. All right, man, whatever, man. Get out of here, beat it. But if a nigga, if a nigga tell me, all right, man, if you want to be a fat nigga, be a fat nigga. Like, go ahead and be a fat nigga, man. And just say that to me, like in that manner, I'm going to the gym that day.
That's the same for me. That's the same way I am.
Yeah.
Like when a nigga be like, damn, bro. Like, damn, that nigga, your stomach that big? Like, come on. What you doing? You gave up?
Them the type of comments, and I'm like, you know what? I bet I'm on it. I'm on it. It's
That's
those slights.
Fact. That's the same personality thing that we talk about. You're absolutely right. That being said, I wanted to ask you something, but going like mixing the selling, and you brought up Mo too. So my homeboy, stay on me, accountable. My homeboy Sam, shout him out. He was like, bro, you move like you ain't done shit. Because we planning this thing. Me and AB working on. And he mentioned Jelly Roll that had did this thing for the Nashville Predators. You know Jelly Roll, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So way back in the day when we first started on deck, we had some of his partners on here. And I was doing some work in my mom's husband's restaurant, and he came through. He had just got out of jail. And he introduced himself because his partners knew me. We had been doing on deck in the city. They was with him. I said, "Oh, this is Lou, man. He do this show, this, that, and the third." He was real cool, brother. Like same thing you see from him right now. If you follow him at all, like real cool, genuine dude. And me and my homie Sam was talking this week, Tuesday, and he was like, he was telling me about Jelly Roll. He's like, "Do you know him?" I was like, "No, I don't know him, but you know, I told him what I just told you about the show and knowing his friends and that he follows me on Twitter." He was like, "What, bro? He follows you on Twitter." He's like, "You need to reach out." And I was like, "Reach out for what, bro?" He was like, "You need to reach out and just get him to say something about what you do, the show, something." I was like, while I get what he was saying, and it made me think of it when you said Mo, I was just at a loss because, like, I don't even know what I would say. One, because I don't even look at it that way. I told you, I met him once 12 years ago, 14 years ago, probably even longer than that now. Mm-hmm. He's like, but he follows you on Twitter. You can just shoot him a DM. It don't matter if he read it or not. Just say you shot your shot. And I was like, yeah, but bro, it's like what you just said was said. I don't have anything to present to him. He's like, you're crazy. You got all of this shit that you're doing. Like, what do you mean you don't have anything to present for him? I'm like, bro, it did not register to me. And I wanted to know what you thought. Because it's still, while I get what he's saying, because he always tells me this. He's like, he's like, bro, you don't share enough with people. You don't reach out enough to people. What you do is dope. I've seen it since day one because I've been knowing him since we was in high school. I've been knowing this dude since he was a freshman. I was a senior. And he's like, bro, you're too cool for school. While that's good, it's still like you got to do what Mo did. But I'm always at a loss when it comes to that, though.
We're not like that. It's just it's a personality trait. That's just not who we are. It's just more so everything that I've gotten in my life. I'm sure you can say the same. Everything I got in my life was just by me being me. And just taking care of what I needed to take care of, man. Like Hov said, man, Foolish Pride held me together through these years.
Yep.
Like, so, and it's not a good thing. I'm not saying it like it's a good thing. It's just who my personality is. It's you know what? We both have that Michael Lee type of personality. You know, when Marlo came up and had Monk come up with the money. Monk came up with the money. Hey man, it's some new school clothes. Mike said, man, that ain't me. What ain't you? That owing niggas for shit. That ain't me. Like I feel more comfortable being able to get it on my own. And if I'm on my way there and you feel like there's something you can do to help, then by all means, I'll accept that help. But me presenting, I have a real hard time asking like, hey, can you do this for me? Because it's crazy you even asked me this, right? I just talked to, man, my dog, man. It's like, fam, I told you yesterday the hat, the Champions hat. I'm laughing because he was dogging the Bengals. My dog, MT, man, my brother Matt, he called me yesterday and we was on the phone. He owns a store, like 3 stores, excuse me.
Yeah.
Boutiques, clothing and shoes, right? Been at this for a minute. I think they just celebrated 16 years. Shout out to corporate. We was having a conversation. I was telling him, man, like, I got to start reaching out to you more. I got to start checking in, because in my head, I know how busy you are and how many connections you have and how many people you really like are in contact with. That's some big dogs. And, you know, I'm just like, man, I look at it as I respect that time. Like, I respect your time. I know you got stuff going on. Like, when I see you, it's always love. But here he is calling me. Like, you feel me? He got some names in his contact list.
Yeah.
I'm just going to say it like that. He got some names in there. He calling me just like, hey, man, it's good to hear your voice and stuff. And I'm like, you know what? Like, let me actually get back on that and really extend the other side of it, because we can't get anywhere. Look at us doing this podcast together. We can't do anything without others.
Facts.
We can't. Fact. So what this podcast actually, or this chapter, should I say, this book, is going to help me with is getting out of that shell. I got to break out of the cool shell, and I don't know how to do it, but I got to do it.
Here.
And the first thing that I'm going to start doing, and I got something else for you that ties into that. We'll get into it in a second. But the first thing I'm really going to start doing that's on one of my goal lists is the social media presence. That's why I started this chapter talking about the call of action. I'm really going to start making reels and just start sharing certain things, because you never know what's going to stick. And I started thinking about it because I'm not a natural social media person, man. I don't need to videotape myself. It just feels weird to me. It's just not who I naturally am. However, I started thinking, man, what can I do that automatically interests me or already interests me that I can apply to social media? So I decided what I'm going to start doing is either is it going to be Show Love Saturdays or Show Love Sundays, right? And all I'm going to do is I'm just going to make a post or a reel showing love to people that I've been observing, whether I know you or I don't. Hey, man, I follow this person. Like, they do some real fly shit. I just want to shout you out, man. I see all the stuff you're doing, or Shorty, I see all the stuff you're doing over here. And just show love to people, man. Just so let people know. You never know. Like, anytime we get a compliment, we talk about it sometimes when people write in, like on Good Earners and things. Like, it just makes you feel good. It gives you that extra boost that somebody's noticing what you do, right? Because there's times when you like, man, it's times when you just like, man, ain't nobody even paying attention to this. Like, ain't nobody even, like, I'm dope and nobody's noticing. Like, it feels like that sometimes. So when you get that random acknowledgement, like I said, whether it's people you know or people you don't know, it just feels good. It gets an extra pep. It gives you an extra pep in your step. And I really want to start showing love. I enjoy showing love to people. I'm a fan of people and the things that they do, whether it's in the podcast space, whether what they're doing in the community, starting businesses, mentoring, whatever it is. If I like it and I'm into it, I really just want to start acknowledging and maybe bringing more light and helping this whole community grow as one that way. So I'm starting to use these different implements. Like, how can I be myself and still, you know, to help me with this social media thing? Because if you left it up to me, last February when I went to New York, went to the Soprano House and all that, went to that Nas One Night Only MSG concert, I made a post and I was like, man, I'm about to start posting once a month. At the beginning of the month, I'm just going to do a recap of my month before and all that. Guess how many times I posted past February, Spike?
How many?
None. I made posts, but it was only, I never made one of those monthly posts that I said I was going to do. I just didn't do it because it's just naturally not who I am.
It's not who you are. Yeah, like
you got to get uncomfortable, man. And listen, one of my favorite quotes, Spike Lou. A comfort zone is a beautiful place, but nothing ever grows there.
That's a good, 100%. I did the same thing, like what you were saying with New York. I went to the Jay-Z exhibit. I took all of these videos, had my phone out, phone damn near full, maximum, doing all of this stuff. Just being in New York, I said, I'm gonna make a little story thing, do my time in New York like I seen people do, just to try to have more personality. So guess where them videos at now? Sitting in my folder. I don't even think I went back and looked at them. Because on one thing for me, it's like, I enjoy my experiences. I don't have to, because I'll see stuff that people share and I cringe and I'll be like, why you need to let everybody know that? Like, that's weird to me. And I'm somewhat selfish in my experiences. Like, I like to experience it. I don't want to share it with 1,500, 2,000, 3,000 people. I want this little nugget to I can tell stories about it. That's what I do. I go on podcasts and I can talk about it, but using the content and just getting people out there more, because more people are going to see your face. I do understand it and want to start doing more of it, but I definitely relate to what you're saying. That's one of the things on my list as well, as far as just doing more networking, having at least once a month, going out, shaking hands, kissing babies. Hey, this is what I do. Not looking for anything back. Just meeting more people in different spaces. I know I need to do that.
Absolutely. You and me both. And we'll get to the list in a second. I do have a question for you before we get there. For the first time, so I guess for context, let me back up a little bit. So 2 years ago, maybe even sooner than that, or later than that, should I say? Say about 2 years ago, only podcast that I was part of was Culture Garden, and We Got Y'all, right? Those are only 2 podcasts that I was doing, building those up. And from that time, we've got Good Earner Sopranos. We got Best Episode Ever. We got Another Week in the Books. These are all podcasts I'm a part of. This Bengals podcast. That's 6 right there, right? And for the first time this past week, it got to a point where I was like, oh, I can't record this. Like, I'm not ready. Like, I didn't manage my time properly to make sure I was ready to record this. Shout out to Ray P. Gracious enough was on somebody cool, because we doing another week, Best Episode Ever, but we were going to record a Culture Garden episode. Right? So it wasn't like it was pressing. If it was pressing and I had to do it, I would have been able to do it. But I didn't have the time, and I was able to reach out to him like, yo, I ain't ready to the quality that I know we can do it, or I can do it. Yeah, you on spot. I can't hear you for some reason.
Okay. So
right,
you knew it went to the quality of what you do, because you get in your bag with the facts and the research and stuff like that.
Yeah, it wouldn't have been to that quality. And she was like, cool. Like, you know what I mean? All good. We reset the date and all of that. But I was like, damn, like, I really got to learn now how to say not no to things. But there's still people who reach out to me and say, hey, I got this idea that I think you'd be great for. I want to do this podcast with you. And now I'm getting to the point like, bro, I can't do it. Or I got some other ideas that I'm ready to roll out. And I'm like, all right, I really got to sit down and map out how this looks. If I'm going to do this, what else is what something's got to be taken off the table. Or I got to be able to manage this in a certain way to where it makes sense. And my question to you is, as someone who's been doing this for a long time, and I think I told you, sometimes there are things that I don't even want to ask you for, because I'm like, I'm not putting anything else on Spike Blue plate. I'm gonna save him from himself. I told Mo that, man, I'm gonna save him from himself, because I know he's gonna say, yeah. If it's a good idea,
facts,
and I can pitch it, I can, like, shout out to Junior, I can sell it. Then I know Spike Lee can, he already bet. I'll make some time. He'll find some time in your schedule. And I'm like, hold on, man. That's a lot of stuff. What are you doing what do you think you're sacrificing or losing out on because you do all these podcasts? And have you ever had any thoughts like, all right, man, like, I really got to cut 1 or 2 out of these so I can get a day or something to myself to refresh? Like, how do you mentally deal with that? And what are you doing about it for the future?
That's a good question. The thing that I tell myself is to keep me doing it is you asked for this. Yeah. Like when I started doing only on deck, only on do Tuesday night, put it out Wednesday. As I grew as a podcaster, what I said I wanted to do was just be a part of more stuff. Like do more sports stuff, do more movie and TV and just get outside of that. So how I keep myself into it is telling me, like, hey, Lou, you asked for this. Before you tell a nigga no, remember, it's that little quote that you see on the meme pages that be going around, like, the life that you asked for 4 or 5 years ago, you living it now. Take a minute out to be thankful for that. Yeah. So that's the thing that puts the battery in my back to, like what you said. Well, I don't turn a lot of stuff down. How I do it, okay, not how I do it necessarily, but more so the sacrifice. I don't really do, like, I don't have I find myself not having time for people. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm recording. If I'm not recording, then I'm probably working. If not, I just want my little me time. So the sacrifices came with a social life. Like, I stick to myself. I don't want to talk on the phone. I don't want to get to know you. I don't want to do, like, I'm not at that stage in my life right now, bro. Yeah. Like me adding people into my life from a social standpoint, it got to be really easy, or they got to be trying really hard, because I'm quick to hit you with I'm recording. I'm going to be recording tomorrow. I'm going to be recording the day after that. And I'm going to be recording probably the day after that. And then that Friday that I'm not recording, I'm probably going to do something like play golf, like for me to decompress, or going to watch a movie for a movie I got to record for this weekend. So now I don't want to go grab drinks. I don't want to chill and talk on the phone. I don't want to do that. That's the sacrifice that I find myself making, because I've met plenty of people over the last year that were cool chicks, but it's like, I don't got time for this. I don't want to sit on the phone. And I'm not saying anything is wrong with her for wanting to do it, but I don't want to talk to you for an hour on the phone. I don't want to do that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't got time to go grab drinks with you. I don't want to do that. I'm working. But again, I tell myself, you asked for this. So I feel like those are some of the sacrifices that you have to make. Now, once I'm in a position where I'm doing this full time and I'm not juggling a 9 to 5, then yeah, I'll open that part of my life back up. But right now, that's pretty much closed down. Like I don't have time for social life.
I understand that because that grind serious. You got to get into it as long as you know that. And I think that's one thing I'll say for everybody out there. You got to be able to be comfortable with that. You ever seen Whiplash, Spike?
Whiplash, I don't think I've seen
about the drummer, Miles Teller and J.K. Simmons.
No, I ain't seen that.
Okay, now there's a scene. Long story short, for those who've seen this movie, they know what I'm talking about. Miles Teller is an aspiring musician. He wants to get in the best music school with the best music teacher, right? And he's dating this girl that he met, and he gets into the school, right? And he plays the drums, and he ends up meeting his girl, and pretty much tells her like, "Yeah, we got to break up." She's like, "You got to break up." But yeah, I want to be the best drummer in the world. Like that's what I want to do, and I can't do that if I'm sitting there dating you. And what's going to happen is I'm going to end up resenting you, and then you're going to be upset with me because I'd rather just get a clean break right now. The scene is much better than how I'm describing it.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah, but it's like, damn, like I can understand that because you only have 24 hours in the day. You only got a certain amount of time. And I think a lot of people shy at that, or they'll push back and say, well, you got to have balance. And I agree with that. You do have to have balance. However, I think there are seasons in your life where it's like, this is my grind season. This is the season where I'm going to the next year, the next 2 years, whatever it is. This is what my main focus is. And if it works and it fits in my life, if something else outside comes in and it fits, and I can make time for that, or I have the desire, because just like relationship, any relationship, whether it's romantic, whether it's friendship, the reason your relationships work, your close ones, is because you wake up every day and you choose that relationship. Like this relationship still serves me, right? I'm getting something from it and I'm contributing to it. The problem is if I feel like I'm not contributing and you the one doing all the heavy lifting, like I gotta like.
Yeah, I'm not that type of. I'm not a user, right? It's like you said. If you the one doing the heavy lifting, then what am I doing here? Like it needs to be like.
I was about to say, I promise you, I'm not the friend you got to hit up every day. I don't need that. I'm very low maintenance, and I think that's why I have a lot of close friends that can manage these relationships and really be locked in with people. And you got to understand that about people, what they need, what they don't need, and obviously, when I do get some time, and we'll talk about the list, we'll get right into it. But sending those text messages out, realizing that every check-in doesn't have to be an hour phone call. Sometimes people just like seeing your name pop up on their phone on some, hey, what's up? What's going on with you? And taking it from there.
Yes.
And like I talk myself into, it has to look like this for them to know that I'm really like thinking about them. And sometimes it's like, hey man, just thinking about you, bro. Like, hope everything good.
Facts.
What's going on, shorty? Like, you cool? Like, you just want to say what's up, man. Just checking in on you, making sure you good. I bet. I'm gonna follow up with you. Go ahead.
And it be picked up naturally too. I tell you what I hate in some of those relationships with the people that aren't as close to you, but you still, you think about them, you reach out. My least favorite response is, "Oh, what's up, stranger? Oh man, you found some time?" Like, I would prefer we pick it up like you talked to me yesterday. But you addressing the fact that you ain't hit me up in a while. Like, okay, like obviously I ain't had time and I'm hitting you up now. What's going on? How you good?
Yeah.
But that's the fear, like you said, some of the relationships that aren't as strong is because of the response that you get when it is a long time between reaching out. So
yeah, man. And I'm mindful of that. I've learned to be mindful of that. Like, not even jokingly, I don't even like doing that to people, because as an adult and you grow and you do things, man, you realize a lot of people got stuff going on, man. Life ain't easy.
Facts.
Right? Life ain't easy. Like, just from a surviving standpoint, emotional standpoint, there's a lot of stuff people got going on. So you never know. Like, you fuck around and joke and say, "Oh, you finally got time for me." You, man, nigga.
I had to straighten my dad about that, bro. Like, I had to straighten my dad about that.
Listen, I'm mad. My house got foreclosed on. My dog died. Like all types of shit, man, bro. You don't know what the fuck I've been going through these past 3 months. How dare you come and hit me with the you finally got time? Now I don't have time actually.
Right.
Like Ho said, man, I just pull up to check up on my dog. I ain't even had time.
Exactly. And it's like you said, that's the reason my relationship with Dro, I covered so much, or even like Scoops. We'll go. Me and Dro didn't talk. I've said this before on here. We didn't talk for maybe 4 or 5 years. And it wasn't no beef, it wasn't anything. And then when he did hit me up, or when I hit him up, it's been a long time. It wasn't any of that. We just hopped right back in like we had talked yesterday. Like I appreciate people like that. Like when you can do that, I feel like that's real, genuine friendship. I don't gotta talk to you every day. You don't need to know my every move. I don't want to know your every move. And if we do hit each other up, it ain't gotta be damn. Like it's boom. What's going on, brother? I ain't talked to you in a minute. I really appreciate those relationships and people that can do that.
They're the best ones, man. They're the best ones because it's genuine. It's genuine from start to finish. But
like my mom even hit me with that. Like I ain't talked to you, but that's mom do. So
that's different. That's different.
That's a totally different thing. But she hit me with that this week. You can call me sometime. I'm like, man, we talk Sunday. It was 3 days ago. But I get it. I get it.
I get it. You know, it's I get
it. I ain't even disputed.
I'm gonna do better. Man. So you came up with the idea, Spike Lou, as we were discussing last week, just a natural conversation. It takes 21 days to build a habit.
Yep.
And I mentioned that we should make a list of all the things. What are those daily habits that we want to put to the task every single day for 21 days? That's going to be a part of our routine. You had the idea of calling this chapter The List because of that. And I want to talk to you about what you came up with for those daily habits and how you plan on executing that and what you need from me and others, the other bookworms listening, in order to make sure that you're on this. Because these 21 days, and just for those who didn't listen last week, we're planning on doing these 21 days straight.
Mm-hmm.
If I do this for 5 days straight and I miss a day, I'm going back to day one. Because the whole point is it ain't 20 out of 21 days. It ain't 19 out of 21 days. It's literally 21 days in a row, do these habits, and now it's a part of your day. It's a part of your rhythm. What do you have on your list as far as those goals or those habits? And what do you need to accomplish?
On my list, number one is just get more active, work out. Whether it be just a walk, it be push-ups, sit-ups, do some jumping jacks, nigga, go jump rope. But I want to include that in my everyday at least 4 times a week. But like you said, for the first 21 days, I want to figure out how to get it in there. Well, even if I don't have time, I know I already got this allotted right here. Like this is the thing that I need to do. So that's the first one. The next one is eat healthier. I want to take some initiative of not leaning on eating out, grabbing something quick after I get done working because I got to record, being more prepared, whether it mean cooking on Sunday, meal prepping, whatever it may be, being more prepared to be able to eat healthy. Because I'm doing those top two things because I want to lose maybe 10, 15 pounds. I don't want to lose too much weight because I like being a little chubby nigga, but at least 10 or 15 pounds I could shave off. That wouldn't hurt me at all. So those are the first 2 that I want to implement in the first 21. The next one is networking. And what that means in the 21-day span is like what you were saying, whether it be sharing more on social media for what fits me, finding something that I like that I could do on a weekly or a daily basis within these 21 days that I can implement as part of my brand. I got the hat on, maybe something with that just got those rolling, but doing more networking, doing more social media stuff, going out, shaking hands, kissing baby, meeting more people, not just doing the podcast and having my head down. Okay, I know I can do the product. Now you got to go sell the product. That's what you asked for. Now show that you can make a living off of it. So networking is going to be that thing from that. I need to spend my money more wisely. I want to implement, and that's why I can't wait till we have your boy on, the financial dude. I want to implement some saving tactics and just being more frugal with my money. Like just not just being like, nigga, I got it. It don't matter. whatever it may be. I ain't rich by
Nigga,
any means, but
I'll make that back, nigga. I'll make
I
that back.
can make that back. Yeah, nigga, I can go outside and make that back. But yeah, like just being more mindful of spending habits, just like knowing, like nigga, having more money put aside. I just want to be able to do that. The next one is seeing my family more. I'm 300 miles away from all the people that I grew up with and my immediate family. That's about a 3.5 hour drive, whether it be hopping on a flight for a weekend or just making that drive up there. I need to do that more, at least twice a month. But in that 21-day thing where it starts is just reaching out to them more. If it ain't seeing or pulling up on them, calling my cousin that I grew up with, that I still like, that's like my, your cousin is like your first friend. Like me and my cousin are still really close, but her and I really only shoot a text message to each other every once in a while about a TV show, or when I'm there, we'll hang out the whole time that I'm there. But I do need to get more involved, just talking to her on a more daily basis. Same thing with mom, same thing with pops, same things with my closest friends, my godson. I haven't been reaching out to him like I should. So building that routine of just reaching out and sharing with people, letting them share with me, just getting more back into that, because I have been in grind mode, as you spoke of. And the last one is really at a 21-day thing, but just something I need to do to myself. I need to take at least 2 trips a year. This year almost over. I haven't took really any, but I'm going to change that by December, as far as I want to take just a relaxed trip. And it ain't work, it ain't this. It's like I'm going to play golf, or I'm going to lay on this resort and not move for the next couple of days, or we rent this Airbnb and the cook's coming through and we chilling. Like, this is what I came to do, chill, nothing else. So I want to do that at least twice a year. Half the year is almost over, so I need to start working on booking that one for this year. Those are the biggest things for me over the 21 days that I want to be held accountable for, asked about, giving advice on, all of those things that come with accountability from people that I respect and have love for. Like, those are the things that, hey, I heard that list. Where you at on this? Or where you going this year for your vacation? Like, those type of things.
So appreciate you sharing that, brother. I got a couple questions for you, but I do want to say, just so everybody's clear, all the bookworms out there, Dro, Big Jeff, Scoops, AB, J-Hove, like, this is an everyday thing for these 21 days. Right? Myself, like, I'm going to be reaching out to you 21 days in a row, Spike Lou.
Facts.
Like, straight up. Just like check in the morning, evening, after, whatever it is, man, because it could be 9:30, man. If you ain't get that workout, hey, man, one of my favorite things to see on the Apple Watch, honestly, one of my favorite things to see is that 10-minute 50-calorie workout, because what that tells me is I had to do something today. It might not have been the workout, because here's the type of person I am, Spike Lou. Here's where I mess up, and we'll get into my list. I mess up because I have an expectation of how something should go.
Yes.
And if it's not fully that expectation, then it's like, oh, well, ain't no point in doing it for 15 minutes, because I planned on doing it for an hour. So ain't no point in doing it for 15. I'll just do it tomorrow.
Facts.
And that's where we get in trouble. So
I heard you this weekend.
Yeah.
I was sitting, I slept in because I was tired just from the week. And I knew we had this episode coming up. So this weekend, I went and done Stone Mountain. I ain't done it in about a year. And what Stone Mountain is, for the people that ain't familiar with Georgia, it's this mountain hike. It's a mile up. I think elevation is 600 something feet. So like, it's a cool little, you go a mile up, you go a mile down. But once you get to that last maybe even quarter of a mile, I'm talking about straight uphill, steep. And boy, I sit here Saturday, I was like, I'll just wait. And then I heard you, and I thought about, I didn't even wear my Apple Watch, I should have. And I thought about this episode and this go to accountability. I was like, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do it. Fuck how much time it take. Yeah.
Too many niggas have made it up this hill, man. I can make it up.
Yeah, exactly. And I ain't gonna lie, I was a little apprehensive because I haven't done it in so long, and I feel like I'm out of shape. Like, I haven't been exercising like I should. So I was like, man, I definitely don't want to go and not be able to make it to the top no more. I would be so hurt. But I went dolo. It took me a little longer than it usually take. I had to take a few more pit stops than I usually do, but I made it to the top. Sit up there for a minute, meditated. AB been trying to get me to come run with him on Saturday mornings for 2 months. And I haven't done it, but I heard you this weekend. I was like, I'm gonna get up and do Stone Mountain. I'm trying to implement into my weekly routine at least one trip up that mountain, and that's gonna roll over into it. So I'm glad you said that.
That's dope, fam. I'm proud of you, man. Progress, not perfection. You know what I thought of when you was talking about that story? I was
What's
talking
that?
about The Wire, and I'm gonna apologize in advance, man. Me and Spike Lee probably two of the biggest Wire fans that you'll ever meet. So
Yes,
there's probably gonna be a lot of
absolutely.
Wire references. We do a whole podcast about Sopranos, and we still manage to throw Wire
To get the
references in there.
Wire and that
But when you
Wire
talked about
podcast is
that,
gonna be crazy.
it's
I
gonna
just
be
want to put
crazy,
that
man.
out there, man.
Right. But when you talked about that story, it made me think of when Cuddy was trying to start a boxing gym, and he went to the big gym, right? And they was training the kids and stuff. And the one of the main trainers was looking at Cuddy. He was like, "Look at that kid over there. What you see?" And he was throwing some little weak punches and stuff. And Cuddy said, "Look kind of weak to me." He said, "Nah, that ain't weak. That's the starting line. Like that's where you start. Like we all, and that's what makes this gratifying because we all have a journey that we can look back on and be like, damn, like I remember where I was." And where I am now is a complete night and day difference. So it's just a starting line, man. And then you're gonna start getting up that hill. It's just more about that routine and how you do it.
Facts.
So before I get into my list, though, what are your plans as far as implementing this? Like, for example, you talk about eating healthy. What are you going to do to start your week? Like, are you having a set day where you write down, all right, I'm going grocery shopping on Sunday. I'm mapping out my meal list, right? So I know Monday I'm eating this, Tuesday I'm eating this. And I think it's okay to plan around your day as well. So I don't think there's nothing wrong with picking up something as long as it's something that is healthy. So I know if I am picking up something, if I'm stopping at Chick-fil-A, I'm getting a salad, not the Cobb salad with the fried nuggets. I'm getting the grilled chicken salad, with the calorie, start calorie count and all that stuff. Are you doing anything in particular to get ready for that?
Measuring, like you said, writing it out on Saturday. Like I'm gonna cook rice, chicken, broccoli. I'm gonna do rice, chicken, and broccoli because I'm trying to, like you said, cut the calories down. No fried food on a certain week. More fruit. No snacks. No juice. Just water or Gatorade or something like that with low sugar. Writing that out on Saturday and sticking to it. I'm almost done with it. Like my do's and don'ts of what I'm not going to be doing, so I can really just cut the calories. But that's going to be coming up with that list of do's and don'ts, and then planning out the week from a meal prep standpoint. Like you said, if I do stop, it's Chick-fil-A, grilled chicken, Cobb salad. It's probably the healthiest fast food option you could take.
Yeah, Chipotle's ain't bad. You know what I mean? Get you a rice bowl, some chicken. Like Chipotle's not a bad option. All that stuff.
With the beans or without it?
With the beans. So I'm a calorie counter.
You can eat it with the beans. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's how I look at it. I get the black beans. I usually get like white rice or brown rice, depending on the day. I get black beans, fajitas. I try to be easy on the sour cream and cheese, but really just protein and stuff like that. Get it
Chicken,
in.
rice,
Good meal,
beans.
filling. Chicken, rice, beans, fajitas, salsa. And that's usually it. Like I said, maybe if I happen to want some sour cream, I'll get some very light sour cream. Either way, for me, and obviously you want to eat as healthy as possible, but I also look at the calories. Like I don't want those 2,800 calorie Wendy's meals and stuff. That's going nowhere fast. But if I can, even if I pick up food and it's pretty cool, I'm good with that.
Yeah, that's okay. Facts.
So
I didn't. I can. My only problem with Chipotle is the way they rice tastes. I don't like that little whatever the fuck they put in there, man.
Yeah, man.
But we got moles too. We got moles too. We got moles that I can do the chicken, rice, and peas.
Yeah, man. It's just more so about portions and what you getting. Like I said, it's if I get a chicken sandwich, maybe I don't need the fry. Maybe I can get a grill. Eat a little bit healthier because it's a gradual build, right? I think not everybody can go cold turkey. And a lot of people, they recommend it. So if you're changing your diet and stuff up, or if you're trying to go from eating meat to a vegetarian, doctors will probably recommend like, hey, ease it off. Like, don't just go cold turkey. Let your body adjust to it. Start going 3 days a week where you only vegetarian, and then go to 4 days and 5, and then completely wipe out everything out your diet and things like that. So as Pops would always say, proper preparation prevents poor performance. So I asked that question just to make sure that you had a plan in place to make sure that these goals were going to be laid out on top of myself and the other bookworms reaching out and making sure you're on your shit. So that's dope, man. I appreciate you sharing that. All right. So
what you
got? I got mine in a couple of different lists. One is like those daily habits, those actual 21 days that I can do. And the other one is similar to what you talked about, some goals. It might not be daily, but stuff that I really need to work towards to making sure I accomplish it. So as far as the daily habits, I want to implement some meditation. Like I pray every morning, but I want to implement some meditation too, whether it's 10 minutes, 5 minutes, whatever the case is. I don't know how to meditate. Like, so I downloaded the Calm app. And there's a Headspace out there. I don't know if it's Headspace, it's something else. But the Calm app is something that I've been trying to use. Right. So I'm going to do those every single day, starting out with 5 minutes a day. We'll see where it goes to 10, but I'm trying to take these baby steps. As long as I do it, I'll be cool. Right. So meditation is something I'm trying to just start my day and balance it off. There's this app for anybody out there. There's an app on Apple called Elevate, or I'm sure it's on Google Play too, but called Elevate. It's a mind app. Just something to get your mind working. They have reading activities, math activities, like what do you do, fraction. It's just little puzzles and things that just to get your brain working in a sense of looking at things, trying to figure it out, getting it active. Because the longer you're away from doing stuff like that, the easier it is to kind of forget. Or the longer you go away from reading, the more you shorten your vocabulary. And you know what I mean? So I want to make sure I use that every single day. Now it does cost for the service. I forget how much it is a month. I think it's like $50 for the year, but you get a whole year for that amount, and you can do these activities that grade you. You can advance and move on to like more difficult things. But it's just a cool way to start your day and get active with your brain versus your body. Another thing in that same vein is the word of the day. Every day, I'm going to look up a word of the day, whether it's dictionary.com or I think there might be a word of the day website, and I'm going to make sure I use. Yeah, and I'm going to make sure I use that word in that day. In a conversation, I'm going to use that word. Right? That's something I'm going to do. I told myself I'm going to read 10 pages a day.
I added that to my list too. Since you were just talking, you made me think of that. I added meditation and reading.
If I don't read like a physical book, if I'm doing an audio book, listen 20 minutes a day. Right? It ain't got to be like I got to do 3 chapters. Nah, it's 20 minutes a day. Pause it, keep going. That's something I want to implement. And then, of course, the gym. Got to get back in this gym or a workout, like gym/workout, because I don't got to lift weights every day, but I want to move my body at least for these first 3 weeks. On a normal schedule, I do believe in rest days. I think your body needs that time to do so. But in order to really pick up these habits, I'm going to do these 21 days. I'll set a certain amount of days that I go to the gym, but I got to be active. Like you said, Spike Lou, got to be in the gym. I got to be on the basketball court. I got to be lifting weights. I got to do something for 21 days in a row. Got to, even if it's just taking.
I think I'm gonna pick up pickleball. I've been seeing people
been
playing
doing
it. I may do that this weekend actually. But yeah, I like that.
A lot of people have been doing that. And on top of that, and this is important, something that I don't think about at 37 years old, but I got to include it in my daily activity. Really got to start stretching.
Yes.
I really got to start stretching, man.
It's crazy. You said that they've been running this promo ad. You know how IG do now. There's this new stretch place to just open up by my crib.
Stretch Lab.
Stretch Lab. You've been seeing it on your IG too.
Yep, Stretch Lab.
It's one. So one just opened here. And they was just like a free membership or some shit like that for the first month. And I thought about going to do that, but 100% need to stretch more. Yep. I even thought about taking some yoga. One of my homegirls, she just became a yogi. And so I was asking her about some lessons and things like
Mama.
that. You see, yeah.
I told you, I'm on another week in the books page now. So I'll be saying like, who's this doing all this yoga? And I remember Mama from being on chapter book 1. So I'm like, that's
she went over to Colombia and she studied for like 21 days. And she's a certified yogi now. So yeah, that's dope.
See a theme going with this 21. Colorado playing tonight. Prime time 21. 21's in the air, man. It's in the air. And then also the last thing I have on the daily list is journal, whether it's writing or keeping audio journals, using my voice notes and literally just talking out, what happened today. Sometimes that's best for me to clear my thoughts. It might not be, on some Moesha writing in my diary shit, but I might be able to just, let me record and get these thoughts out and just kind of, all right, I release that. Now I can move on and put it behind me and all that kind of good stuff. So those are the daily goals, like every single day for these next 21 days or whenever we decide to start, whether it's the top of the month, whatever. We'll talk about that. Those are what I'm going to be committed to. All right. As far as the goals go and things that I want to work on and make sure I implement, really got to get into this game tape like we discussed last week. Really got to look at these podcasts that I just mentioned. They're up and running. They're consistent. What's that next thing? What does your podcast need now? Marketing, that's a big one. Social media presence, that's a big one. How are you going to start implementing getting to that space? That's going to be a big goal that every day or at least a few times a week, I'm setting some time aside, whether it's 30 minutes a day, and just writing down and planning. All right. And it's good. It's a certain ease that comes with knowing that this ain't got to be perfect tomorrow. This ain't even got to be perfect next month. This is just preparing. I'm not announcing it to anybody. It's just one of those things I'm working on. Once I get it, implement it, and then you start building that into the 21 days. So the podcast, watching game tape, cutting up clips, all of that is stuff I'm going to spend some time doing. You mentioned it, budget and finances. Got to get better with my budget. Got to get better with finances, man. You know what I mean? Retail therapy, shopping, all that stuff, taking trips, whatever you like to spend your money on for yourself. I understand it. I said it earlier. My life is hard. Sometimes you need those pick-me-ups.
You need that dopamine release from spending a little bread on some new shoes, some little New Balances and shit like that. Yeah.
Exactly,
just went and done that last week.
Exactly. But you also got to, I've seen this on social media too. You know, they say, shout out to my boy Lawrence. That's the financial brother that's going to be coming with us. He got this theme. His part of his brand is you got food at home. And I've been seeing people on social media like, you got shoes at home. And I look at my closet, bro. I got shoes I ain't worn yet.
Bro, I got
and even worse, nigga. I got all these shoes in the closet, man. I'll throw some Crocs and go run grocery errands. Like, all right, bro.
Or with the same 5 pair. I got over 100 pair of tennis shoes, bro, and I rotate probably the same 5-6 pair.
Same.
It's crazy, and we'll still go buy more pairs.
Same.
Like there's some on my list now that I just haven't gotten around to getting yet, but I know that I'm going to get them. And it's just like there's really no need, because like we was talking about, I don't even go nowhere really to wear them other than having them on, bro. So it's crazy.
I got two pairs of Ameros in the cart. Like, you know what I mean? It's like, hold on, bro. Like, you got 3 pairs you looking at right now that you ain't even put your foot in yet. Like, all right, do we really need to do that? So that goes in budget and finances, man. Just really making sure that you got bread aside. And there's a stat, man. I think 80% of Americans don't have $500 for an emergency.
For an emergency, yep.
Or half of them. I can't remember the exact number, but just don't have $500 aside.
I saw it. I think it was 60%.
60%.
So
yeah, that sounds about right.
80.
It's over 50. It's over 50. So putting some money to the side, man. And I also really want to get into investment. Like learning more about investments, putting some stuff in stock. I've been doing some groundwork on that, so I'm looking forward to that part. The next thing I have as far as a goal, I gotta clear my contacts, my text messages, and my emails. Like I operate under organized chaos. There's people who look at my phone and they say, "Man, you making my skin crawl, bro. You got these notifications." Like if I've sent people screenshots of something, like from a text, and the first thing they'll say is, "Bro, why you got 300 unread messages?" And my answer is always, man, people don't be talking about shit, so I ain't got to respond. You know what I mean? Some of those are some group chats. Like if I cleared them out, it wouldn't be that many. But there are way too many unread messages, and I got to get better at. You know what? And I think it goes in the line of you see it, you do it. Right? Don't wait. Do it now. All right. Somebody sends you a message. Don't wait. Like, oh, I'm gonna finish it. So what happens is I say I'm gonna do this in a second. 12 hours later, I responded to somebody mentally, but I never actually sent the text. Like, bro, just send that shit now and keep moving.
I was looking at this this motivational / whatever on YouTube, and they was saying one of the keys to life, or one of the secrets to success, if you get in your mind, if it takes less than 60 seconds to do it now. Don't wait. Like if you coming home and you're getting undressed and you throw the clothes on the floor and it only would have took 1 minute to hang them up, hang the clothes up. Like if it takes you less than 60, don't put anything off that you can do right now. And it's just like the small mundane stuff. And he was like, that's going to open the doors up for the big stuff that you've been trying to do and you won't. Because the more stuff that piles up, the less motivated you get. Now you see the pile of clothes right there and you don't want to clean your room at all. So I thought that was really, like you said, that was dope.
Do it now, man. Whatever you need to do it. Roll up, while you're doing it. Listen to music while you're doing it. Put a show on while you're doing it. Get it done.
Knock this out.
Get it done. So absolutely, man. And then lastly, it goes into something you said that I really want to get, and I'm going to get better at: the family. Call, text, FaceTime, whatever you got to do. Be more intentional about that. Especially since I moved. I'm in a different city from my fam. It's about a 3-hour drive, 3.5 hours. But when I was home that weekend and I got to see a lot of my cousins, like first cousins, that I grew up with, I'm looking around, they got kids. And I just kept thinking about that Real Friends song. Like it might have been Saha on there when he said, "Couldn't tell you much about the fam, dog. I just showed up for the yams, dog." Like, yeah, like it, like, bro, why do I not know my first cousin's son's name? Or know what grade he is, how old he is, or what he got going on. So one of the things that I'm doing, and this is something by chapter 2, and it's going to be perfect because we're going to have a guest on who's actually my family member. So by chapter 2, he can confirm if I've done this or not. I'm going to start a Facebook group, a private Facebook group for me and my cousins, not even for the fam, for me and my cousins, and implement it and really make the announcement like, yo, I'm making this space for us so we can be connected in our lives. I know it's hard to really raise kids, do all these events, and like find time to call and text, but at least we have one central location. I'm going to ask everybody, hey, all my cousins with kids, please put your kids' names and their birthdays in here. I want to make sure we show some love, man. We can cash out a little bit of bread, like get them something for their birthday. Just be connected. What's going on in your life? Like,
that's dope.
Like all of that. Like, I think that's important because, like you said, these are first friends. You got pictures and you look back and all these memories, and I'm like, bro, like, why? It's really a shame that I don't know more about what's going on, and I refuse to be the person that says you could reach out too. Like, nah, nigga, I'm the leader. Like, I view myself as a leader, so it don't matter what anybody else is doing.
I'm the one that can set this up. I can make people want to do it. Yep.
Yep. And I'm gonna lead the charge in that. So when we convene next week, that group should be done. It should be done, and I'm looking forward to actually taking part in this. And even moms and big sis, just being more intentional about that and just checking in more. Like I said, it don't got to be no hour conversation catching up. It can just be a quick, the same way you talk to your boys. Like, yeah, man, just tapping in. Oh, you watch this, you see this. Like me and my sister love cooking shows.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Watch the episode last week. Just small stuff like that, man. So I'm excited to get all of that going. I've written your list down, and I'm ready to make sure that we communicate with each other. We hold each other accountable, and all the other bookmarks.
Fire this by you. By the way, I want to say that since you were talking, you made me add. I definitely want to get in my meditation bag. I'm familiar with how to do it. What helps me is I at least take 10 minutes out of the day every day. If it ain't just to meditate, but I listen to the MKZ joints on I talked about it on another week in the books. Like they have like the different frequencies for mindfulness, frequencies for being smart, frequencies for money or whatever. So I listen to that for 10 minutes a day, but I want to do that and incorporate meditating with it because I'm always doing something else, but I still hear that in the background, but I need to focus and do that for about 10 minutes. So you definitely made me want to add that. Reading the 10 pages, I added that too because I love books. Like I've been a reader since the beginning, so I definitely want to do that. And it could be fiction or nonfiction. I just want to read and get back in the habit of doing that. My mom used to read every night before she went to bed, so I do want to make sure that I get back into that. And journaling too. I definitely want to get into that bag. I didn't find my journal Why High book, but I didn't look for it either since you said that. But that's at least one of the things I want to do. And I have a challenge for both me and you to add to the list as well.
Okay.
Twin M Extra said this when he was on here. Dro has alluded to it too. Mo as a family man don't get to travel as much as we do. We need to make sure at least by the end of the year, beginning of the next year, that if we have to pull up and all three meet in Florida, somewhere near Mo, book a hotel, go out to eat, whatever it may be. But sometime before the end of the year and before it get too late into next year, us planning a trip, all linking up, having dinner, shaking hands, hugs, gratitude, whatever it may be. But we definitely need to make that happen within the next 5 to 6 months where if me and you got to go to Florida where Mo at because he can't travel because we know he got a newborn, he got the family. If that has to happen that way, or we all three meet somewhere in a central location, that needs to be on our list as far as making it happen. It's been way too long.
Let's lock it in. Let's do it. Yep. I'm with that. I'm glad you said that. I love it. we'll definitely do that. So yeah, it's funny as we get to wrap things up. We talk about signs that we see, and obviously people believe in different things, whether you believe God's speaking to you, whether you believe the universe is speaking to you, whatever the case may be. I just talked about the whole 21 thing. We got a bunch of 21 stuff we talked about today. As we recorded last week, knowing we are going to be creating this list and really holding each other accountable. Complex on Instagram 5 days ago dropped a post, and it says sometimes the best advice in life is hidden on your t-shirt. There's about 7 or 8 t-shirt posts. The second one says the secret of your future is hidden in your daily routine. And I'm like, I needed to see that because that's what we're planning right now. The secret of your future is hidden in your daily routine. I also saw something earlier this week that said, this isn't new. I'm sure people have seen it. I wish I wrote it down verbatim, but it was pretty much like that success you're looking for is hidden in that work you ain't doing. You know what I mean? And I'm paraphrasing, but we all know what it is. We all know what we're capable of. We all know the levels we can take it as long as we get our routine down and really be intentional about that. So this isn't just for Spike and myself, man. This is for all of y'all as well.
And question, I want to ask you, and I want the viewers too to share their comments with it. We make these lists and we say these things. Niggas do it every New Year's or whatever it may be. What are you going to say to yourself on those days that you don't feel like? And I'm asking not to challenge you, because I need that time. Because it's very easy for me to be like, man, fuck that shit. I ain't doing that today, bro. Like, I don't feel like it. I had a bad fucking day. Or I don't want to do it today. Like, what are you going to tell yourself on those days? Like, what's going to be that thing? It's like, nope, I said I'm going to do it. Is it some Marlo shit? Like my name, I said it, I put it out there, so I'm going to do it. Or what is it for you that you're going to say to yourself, Rich, like on days I don't feel like it, bro, it's raining, I don't want to go nowhere? What you going to tell yourself on those days?
They passing you up, bro. They passing you up. You bullshitting. You ain't serious. You talk all that good shit. You don't never see shit through. Well, what you gonna do? What you gonna do? You gonna roll over? I bet. That's what you've been. You've been rolling over for 37 years, bro. Why you this talented and you ain't putting this shit? Like, I gotta talk to myself like that, man. They passing you up, bro. I told you, I get motivated by the slights. Like Ho said, man, for playing me, y'all shall forever remain nameless. Don't ever play me like I ain't me. But how I'm gonna say that to somebody else and I'm playing myself like I ain't me, right? Like, don't let them pass you up, bro. You too talented for that. You too cold for that. Like,
that's good.
Get on your grind. Like, that's what you got to. That's what I got to do, man. Ain't no laying down. I say this. This came from the Boondocks. So when I say it, I don't want anybody to take offense to it, or the women out there who's listening to take offense to it. It's more so from the Boondocks, and it just makes perfect sense. I got some of my friends, when we started trying to work out, we used to tell each other, man, hey man, you ain't Mr. Bitches. So there's an episode of the Boondocks where Granddad is out there in like one of these countries, like they having a dream and shit, and all the women calling him Mr. Bitches. And it was more so like, hey man, you ain't Mr. Bitches. In other words, man, you ain't just that nigga where you can just wake up and get whatever you want. Like, you got to put some work in, bro.
Yeah, you can't have a fat stomach, nigga. Like,
yeah, man.
Yeah, you can't be out here like that and just think you can get bitches. That makes sense.
Yeah, so it's one of those things. Like, bro, you ain't that. Like, you say it in your head, you can see it, but you ain't there yet, and you really got to work there. And when you listen to people who have accomplished things, like great things, not just, I'm talking about the people that's going down in history. Legacy is gonna live long beyond they here, we here, all of that. The one thing is, man, they ain't never cheat the process. They ain't never cheat the work. If they ain't do nothing, let the chips fall where they lie, right? Fall where they may. If things don't work out, they don't work out. But it better not be because I ain't put this work in. Yep. You know what I mean? So it's and that's why I think this is all perfect timing for what we're doing, because we're finally at the point where we know we're talented. We know we got the tools, we got the equipment. That last piece is being consistent and putting that work in. And I promise you, when we do that, when we hit these 21 days, bro, it's gonna be crazy how our life take off and the things that we want in it take off. Because I'm a strong believer that sometimes you don't get the things that you want because you ain't making space for it. You got to make space for it, man. How you gonna get something if you ain't even ready to receive it?
You got all the old shit still taking up too much space. Yeah, that's
too much space, bro. Like, nah, you got to get on this. So that's what I'm gonna tell myself. I know that's a long-winded answer, but that's how I talk to myself, man. Like, man, get your whole ass up and do some work, bro.
It's funny, like you say that, but and we always talk about our personalities. We don't even compare notes on things like this. I'm the same way. Like, nigga, you ain't like, nigga, get your ass. Like this, everything that you just said, I talk to myself like that. I said one of my goals was too. I need to write this on here. I need to, because I do talk to myself like that. I want to talk to myself more positive though. I do want to, even though that motivates me, I do want to get in that bag. Like you reminded me last week. People tell me all the same. I got Sam, Mo tell me. I do need to get in that practice of talking to myself like I'm that nigga versus nigga, you bullshitting. Because the nigga you bullshitting, sometimes that can backfire and you end up not doing it because like it's like fuck it, man, whatever, nigga.
Yeah.
But I think we respond better as humans to positive talk than negative talk. But I'm with you in the same way. I'm working on it. I'm a work in progress.
Hey, that's what we're here for, man. Progress, not perfection. I'm gonna say that a lot. So Spike Lou, man, I think we got some solid lists. And more importantly, I think they're very obtainable. Now it's about putting it to action. Put that call to action out there for us to make sure we do this. So I'm going to be, I know they say the best way is to, man, just jump into it. Don't wait, don't think about it. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to put out there and suggest that we start this Tuesday, September 3rd.
Okay.
Right? It's Labor Day weekend. Building new habits. I'm not going to hold you. I can do it.
Come real easy to break Monday when you ain't got to work.
When you ain't got to work, you ain't got to do nothing. People putting stuff on the grill. You running around, you drinking alcohol. Like, I get it, right? And that's cool because there's a certain challenge that I want to do. Me and my brother Phil was talking about it, and I told him straight up. I said, "Bro, we got to start this after the NFL season. We got to start this in like around the time baseball starts because I know I'm not going to be able to do this consistently. What this requires, like, I'm just not gonna." Yeah, I don't want to do it like that, but I do want to do this, but I got to do it at a certain time. So let's do it on Tuesday, September 3rd. We'll start. We'll check in with each other. We'll make sure that we're doing these dailies because the last thing I want to see, Spike Lou, and I'm sure you're the same way. I know me personally, I don't want you to get to day 21 and I'm at day 10, and I'm sure you don't want to see me at day 21 and you at day 10. Right, we're gonna do this together. We're gonna make sure we're on top of it, and we're really gonna sit back and come back to talk about what the process was like, what we learned about ourselves, and if we are still implementing these daily habits. So as we continue to move forward with book 2 in these chapters, we're going to figure out what it looks like. We're going to have different segments. We will be talking about current events, important things going on in the zeitgeist. We'll be having some guests on here. I know part of the accountability thing that I want to implement, we'll be having goals of the week, little small things that we want to do, just get done in a week. But until we finish this 21 days, I want to make sure we just have some space to check in on each other. And I talked about next week for chapter 2, we're going to have a guest. And I'll tell you right now, chapter 2 is going to be something you want to tune in because there's going to be a level of honesty and vulnerability from our guests that I don't even know how I'm going to react in real time. And I'm just going to leave it at that. I'm looking forward to that conversation. Spike Lou, you got any last words before we get out of here, man?
No, very well said. I can't wait for chapter 2 as well. I think we did a great job with these lists. If you guys want to submit lists to us or just talk about the things that you're working through for your next 21-day goal, let us know, man. Share that with the show. As Rich said, he gave all the information. It's in the read line as well once you open up the podcast. But we appreciate people that join us. And again, you're going to be in for a treat next week. I don't think that we've gotten into this bag, even in book 1. I think it's going to be something different. I think there's going to be a lot of vulnerability that's had there. And a lot of people will get something from it, including us and the people that are joining us, or the person that's joining us. So, yeah, I look forward to that. You guys do all the normal things that you do as far as communicating with us and leaving comments. awitb2022@gmail. Another week in the books on IG. Hit up Rich. Hit up me. We out.
Let's get better this week, y'all. Peace.
Let's do it.